To all my Axie Infinity friends out there, I promised to show you how to farm Ron token on Axie Infinity's decentralized exchange, Katana. But in an effort to keep this video short and informative, I'm breaking it up into two parts. Part 1, how to farm Ron token without explaining any of the risks or any of the details behind the scenes. Part 2, the advanced information about adding liquidity and impermanent loss and some of the additional features you should be aware of when you add liquidity and farm Ron token. Let's get right into it. First, you'll need to go to Katana, Axie Infinity's decentralized exchange. The link will be in the description below. From here, you'll need to sign into your Ronin account. Up here, you'll select Connect. From here, you'll go to Farm, and you'll see there's two options for the farm, AXS wETH, SLP wETH. As mentioned before, I'm gonna show you those details at the end. We're going to add SLP wETH to farm Ron token. The first time you do this, you might have to approve the transaction. First, I need to get some SLP wETH LP tokens. In this example, we're gonna use 1,000 SLP. We need to use the equivalent of that value in wETH to get an LP token. We're going to supply this, confirm supply, and this will go ahead and give us some LP token that we can then go ahead and put into the pool and farm Ron. That transaction has submitted. Let's go to our Ronin. It says we have one pending, and we'll go ahead and wait for that to approve. Okay, so it appears that it's approved and it's been pushed onto the Explorer. Next, we're going to go ahead and click Farm because we should have LP token that we can now go ahead and add and stake. So I already have some Ron here, but you're not going to have anything there if this is your first time. Go ahead and click Stake. And then we're going to see that we have a balance of LP token that we just added in. So I'm gonna say maximum. This is the amount of LP token I have. I'm gonna go ahead and say stake. From here, it's going to make me sign this transaction once again that I'm approving that LP token to be staked for Ron. This may take a few moments to process. And once again, we'll wait for that pending transaction to approve. All right, and just like that, that's also been approved. So you'll see now that the total stake value has gone up, and now this claimable Ron rewards, you'll see will start to roll in over time as you are now farming Ron token with the exchange of your SLP wETH LP token. And remember, this SLP wETH LP token can at any time be exchanged back for SLP and wETH value, and all the while having benefited from the Ron token that you went ahead and farmed. The same process can be followed over here on the left with AXS and wETH. You would first have to get your AXS and wETH liquidity token. You need some AXS lying around, and once again, you need some wETH lying around. So now that we went ahead and show you quickly an example of how to farm the Ron token, let's talk about some important details of adding liquidity to the liquidity pool and farming that Ron token in part 2. Okay, in part 2, I wanted to get a little bit more technical to explain some important details that you should be aware of if you are adding liquidity and farming tokens and using a decentralized exchange to extract some value. There's some important things that you should be aware of. All right, and so question number 1, what is an automated market maker? And so the Ronin DEX in this case is the automated market maker, and this is a decentralized exchange as compared to a centralized exchange, right? So this allows the swapping of tokens by liquidity providers and in an automated market maker fashion. So there's calculations and weights that are provided behind each of the liquidity tokens and how much liquidity is provided to allow swaps to occur, and small fees are deducted, which are then returned back to liquidity providers. So the whole ecosystem is a self-balancing system that allows these transactions to occur in a decentralized fashion. And next, what is liquidity? In this example, I provided SLP and wETH as my liquidity. And so this allows the swaps to occur. I'm providing them the tokens in exchange for an LP token, and behind the scenes, them holding the SLP and the wETH will allow certain trades to occur with different varying fees to incentivize people to trade in and out of certain tokens to allow said trades to occur. The liquidity providers are incentivized with Ron token or a percentage of the fee of each trade. And what is impermanent loss and why should we care? And just like the famous mathematician Richard Feynman always says, explain it to me like I'm 5. I will do my best. So basically, when you provide liquidity to the pool, in this case, you get an LP token. We provided 1,000 SLP and we provided 0.015 wETH. And that was $70 of SLP and $70 of wETH. let's assume the price of ETH doubles in the time that we put that in our pool. So the price of ETH at the beginning was $4,500, and that doubled to $9,000. Well, when you go to exchange your LP token back for your SLP and back for your wETH, you probably gained quite a bit of value, but you also probably didn't capitalize on that doubling of the ETH like you would have if you had just kept your wETH and kept your SLP separately. So it's an opportunity cost that you might have missed out on. And I'm not going to get into the technical calculations because that gets pretty technical. As you can see here, I started listing some of it out and I realized it's getting way too technical, way too fast. But if you're interested, I'm going to put 2 links in the description below. Go ahead and check those out. If you are math savvy, I highly recommend it to nerd out and enjoy those calculations. And finally, I highly recommend check out analytics and check out docs. There's some great information in there as well. Here's Katana docs. Read through all of that stuff. Try to find out the details. Ask me down in the description below and I'll do my best to help you out as well. Also, here's the Ronin analytics, and you can see here there's some information about how much liquidity is provided in each of these pools. You can then take those numbers to go ahead and calculate your impermanent loss yourself if you go ahead and figure out those equations. So thank you so much for tuning in with me. I hope that was helpful for you. Drop down in the description below if you have any questions about that entire process. Please like this video if you liked it, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next week.